It's been a minute. It's been a while since you sat on the couch. It's been a while since we sat on the couch together. Happy Thursday. How are you doing? I got something for you tonight, and it's in particular for my people from Dominica. I'm Dr. Triffy. I'm a psychologist in Atlanta, Georgia. I have showed up in the past on Thursday evenings about this time to talk about psychology and mental health and politics and how to think better so we can feel better and do better. And it has been a minute since I've done one of these. And this is a moment where I feel pushed, pulled, dragged, encouraged, inspired to do a session on this topic. I am directing it to people from Dominica, but this is across the board. This is across the board. This is an issue across the board. Dominica does not have a leadership crisis. The United States does not have a leadership crisis. What we have is a thinking crisis. Now, tonight, I'm going to say some things that might upset some people. Honestly, I'm telling you straight off, tonight is kind of not for you if you're one of those people who wants your existing position to hold. If you want your existing belief to be validated, this might not be for you. If you want gossip, tonight is not gossip. Tonight is not Dr. Tripping, it's Dr. Triffy. If you want emotional outrage, this is not it tonight, okay? If you think somebody's political side is automatically wrong or automatically right, this one is not for you. If you're somebody who refuses to examine evidence or to challenge your own views, tonight is not for you. It's not for you. If you want enemies more than you want solutions, tonight is not for you. If you're looking for somebody to tell you like how to think, what to think, it's not for you. If you are not willing to engage respectfully and share thoughtful comments with thoughtful questions, tonight is not for you. But tonight we need to talk. Tonight we need to talk, and not just about politics, but about how we are thinking about politics. Because right now, speaking as a Dominican, reading Dominicans' comments, Dominicans are confused, frustrated, exhausted, tired. Some are angry, some are literally in another world. Some are literally in another world. They do not know who's telling the truth, who do we trust, what's really going on. And, honestly, for Dominicans, they have lived in a reality. Dominicans have lived in a reality for over 26 years where many people are asking for government to be done in a different way, for politics to be done in a different way. And 26 now moving into 27, 28, 29, 30. A lot of people want better governance. They want better opportunities, better wages, better accountability, and a better future for their kids. Now, these battles have been with the existing party. But no, even inside of the opposition, people are seeing public contradiction, tension, rivalry, open letters, different messages, and leadership conflict. So if you're from Dominica or you know somebody from Dominica, I've got a poll that I've started right here. And I want you to type in the chat from everything you've experienced within the past 7 to 14 days. Just 7 to 14 days. Don't talk about the whole, I just mentioned 26 years. But the last 14, maybe you can go to 21 days. What do you think is Dominica's biggest problem right now? Do you think it's leadership or the lack thereof? Or leadership that is maybe not necessarily considering you, is not necessarily planning for the future well enough, is not planning about succession. I listened to a discussion on that last night. Leadership that is not preparing you for what to do if they're no longer there. Is it a thinking problem? Is it a how are we thinking about politics problem? Is it a corruption problem? Is it that when we do vote people in, they stop doing what we hired them to do? And they do many other things that hurt the whole group. Or is it something else? Type it in the chat. If it's something else, type it in the chat. So let us begin. This is my position right here. The real crisis in Dominica, the real crisis in the United States, the real crisis in your country where you are with your politics is not what you think. It is how you think. And it is you, it is me, it is us, because we vote these people in. We vote them in. We choose them from among us based on who's thinking, not just theirs, ours, our thinking. So clearly, there is something with the way we are thinking when we are examining these people we are choosing to represent us. And listen, I know politics is very noisy. I just described the situation in Dominica right here. I didn't go into details. I think Dominicans are hurt enough with the details. Every country, like I said, has an almost identical scenario. The details are different, but it's frustrating us. Hmm? What I want to do tonight is to give you something, a strategy, a tool, a way, a method to cut through the noise. Because it is us. Us, we have to sharpen the way we are choosing. We have to sharpen the way we are deciding. A lot of us are deciding from our high emotions or our lack of emotions or disengagement. Many people are not voting. They're abstaining from elections. And so they automatically silence themselves from emotions. I'm so tired of this. This is too much for me. Oh, they're making me so angry. Feelings matter, but feelings are not enough. Anyway, feelings are not enough. Your anger is not enough. Your disappointment, who cares? Huh? Whether you like the politicians or not, in the end, it really doesn't matter. Your loyalty or lack thereof, that's not enough. So I want to give us a thinking tool, a strategy that I've designed as a ladder, to go up the ladder, a way for us to move from our emotions to wisdom, to a wise choice. How do I choose wisely? How do I choose wisely? So I create wise circumstances and wise results versus the stuff we're getting here. Because we can blame the politicians all we want, but except if it's by a coup, a military situation that they enter, it is us. We're the ones choosing them. So let me say this again. If you didn't learn to think for yourself, and if you want somebody to tell you how to think, uh, I'm not really here for that. But I am here to offer a strategy. And when I say I'm not here to tell you how to think, what I mean is everybody has a right to decide what they're going to do with information. You can choose it or not. You can use it or not. I'm doing my part. Yeah? So, you ready? Let's climb the ladder. Let us climb the ladder. So, before I move forward, I want to see some of your comments. Good evening, Black Beauty. Faye Day. I am not going to be trading, but thank you very much. Thank you so much for engaging. So let us start, y'all. And remember, as you come upon this, type in the chat, vote. What do you think is Dominica's biggest problem right now? And we have 4 choices right here. You know that little song, Surprise, Surprise? Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. And that might be a hard truth. Not your politician, not your political parties, not your pastor, sorry, not the businessman. And many people genuinely want to help, but politicians want your vote. They want your support. They want your loyalty. They want your attention. They want your money. That does not make politicians evil in and of itself. It does make them human. Your responsibility is to protect your mind. Your responsibility is to evaluate the information, to decide what's true, what belongs to you, what you're going to go with. Because that's the only place you have power. That's the only place you have power. Okay, so let's get to the thinking ladder. Most of us live at the very bottom of this ladder in our feelings, emotions. I'm angry with what they just did. I feel betrayed with what just happened there in Dominica. I feel excited. My party might win. Nothing is wrong with feelings. Feelings are, however, only information. Nobody cares if you're angry. Nobody cares. That's not going to change anything if you're only angry or excited. It doesn't move the needle one way or the other. Your emotions are not instructions to therefore then do this. If you feel this, then your next step is this. No, they're not instructions. It's just information about how you are feeling to, in response to anything. So, okay, start with those emotions, start with those feelings, and move up to level number 2. Level number 2 is about preference. Level number 2 is about preference. I like this. I like them. I don't want this. And you have a right to that. I want that. This, however, is still not yet enough for you to make any kind of choice. Move up the ladder. Step number 3, opinion. Well, I don't want this because I think they could do better. That's an opinion. I think it's wonderful. But then, if that's where you stay, I like them because they smile at me. They're a nicer person. Why? What is your why? What is your why? Can you explain why you're choosing candidate A over candidate B? Can you explain why you're going in the booth and voting for this particular parliamentary representative? Because they showed up? Because you like their mother? Why? Can you defend it? If somebody challenged you, can you defend it? Well, if you don't yet have that answer, you got to climb up another step. You need some evidence. You need to answer the why. You need to answer the why about your potential candidate. What is the why? What are the facts? So, in this situation we have in Dominica, where essentially a bomb was thrown into the community, a verbal bomb, an open letter was sent to the whole of Dominica because it's an open letter. And I appreciate that some people want us to forget that this just happened a few days ago, like a little over a week ago. I appreciate that. And um, I want to say really good luck on that, because that's not how human beings operate. We might choose, after we've gone through something like this ladder of decision, to put it on a side, but it is a process, and it's going to be a process. It might be a very long process for some people. So now you go to the evidence. So you read a letter like that and you say, well, what are the facts? What are the facts? Do I have the facts? What proof do I have of these words that I'm reading? And if I had thoughts about it before, or the situation before, do these facts contradict my thoughts I had before? The thing is, many political ways of being and thinking, we don't even allow it to get there. Many of us do not even allow ourselves to get to the point of evidence where we say, show me the money, show me the proof. Otilajala. Show me the evidence. If I'm making this claim, show me the proof. Help me understand. Yeah? What happens is most of us stay stuck in 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we stay stuck down there on the lower rungs of emotion. We just get so caught up in the I'm upset. Yeah. I like them, so it must be true. Yeah. We need to keep climbing. We need to, because this is our future. This is our lives. These are the people who are making rules and policy about whether or not your mountain gets broken down, whether or not your son gets hired as a bus driver or a dump truck, whatever, carrying cement, carrying whatever to build your airport. So you need to get to the evidence stage. And until you get evidence as a citizen, you need to be requiring evidence before you take one more step with any candidate. Yeah, because you could be selling your future down the river and you have no idea. So, what proof do I have? And if I get proof that contradicts something I used to think, what will I do then? So the next step on that level of decision is assessing the consequences. Assessing the consequences. So I will be referring to that letter for Dominicans often doing this. And I will ask, well, what are the potential consequences? Who gets hurt by the action? Who benefits from the action? These are questions we have to ask ourselves. Who benefits? Who gets hurt by the action? Any action, yeah? And I say that because there have been actions since that letter. Who gets hurt? Who benefits? What are the consequences? What will this do? If I make this choice just because I like someone, because they're my cousin, nephew, whatever, who benefits? Who gets hurt? And what would happen if everybody did this? What happens 5 years from now if I keep going as I'm going now? What happens 5 years from now if I keep going as I'm going now? What is the cost? What are the benefits? You make it to that level, one step up. All right, we come to a little bit of morality questions. Is this right? Hmm. This benefits me, this is good for my community, but is this right? This is good for my bank account, but is this right? Yeah. If they do that, really, will the people benefit? Is it going to be profitable? On the flip side, it could be profitable even though the people don't like it, right? It might not be popular, but it's right. Then check. Then check. I keep moving forward with the choice. I keep moving forward with the decision. I keep investigating. Okay, I'm coming closer. All right, you're talking my language. Next level after morality, ethics. Does this match the responsibilities of my role? Does this match the responsibilities of their role? Is that person acting in their capacity the way they are supposed to be acting in their capacity? Or are they out of order? For example, in Dominica, you might ask yourself, is your parliamentary representative within their bounds to send someone, say, to the post office and say, give that person the position? Is that person working within their role? Is that their ethical duty as part of their job? Or are they out of their ethical roles and responsibilities? And then legal questions. Is it legal? Does it follow the law? Whatever the action is, does it follow the law? Now, some things can be legal, but not ethical, like say something like slavery was legal or segregation was legal, but that wasn't necessarily moral or ethical. Yeah. So you got to go a little further and ask, well, this is the wisdom question. This is where you get to wisdom now. What kind of society are we creating together? What kind of end result are we getting? What are we building together? What is this going to look like tomorrow? Yeah. Many of us are not willing to do all of that mental work. We look at it like work and we don't do it. So we stay where it is pleasurable. For many of us, it's the emotions that are really pleasurable. We stay there. I I like it. Now we move to preference. I like it. Yeah, in my mind it's okay. Opinions, yeah. But we have not yet considered higher things like the ramifications on ourselves even, much less for other people. And until we as individuals start doing that, or remember our responsibility to do that, or learn how to do that, or practice doing that, we're going to keep getting these crisis, negative, painful results in Dominica, in the United States, in India, in wherever, in your job, at your home, wherever it is. It is not the politicians only. It is not the politicians only. We have a responsibility to think clearer. Yeah, we have a responsibility to take our time to sift through information. We do, we have that responsibility. And there are ways to do it. There are ways to do it. So, again, I know this information is not for everybody. I'm not offering it to everybody. I'm not offering it to those people who already know how to think clearly. I'm not. I'm not offering it to those people who cannot hold any more new information. They've shut down. You have every right to your experience. I'm offering it to those people. Your brain feels like it's on fire. It's, stuff is coming at you left, right, and center. Who is right? Which decision here makes sense? Is this person coming from a place that is in my best interest? How do I cut through that? This is how you cut through that. Because all of these politicians want your vote. They all want your vote. They don't all have the same intentions for your vote, but that is your responsibility to try to read as best as you can. And because there's no way to know 100% what's in the mind of another human being, you have to do your best. And you do your best by using procedures like this, strategies like this, where you take time with information. Take time with information. And I would dare say, look at people's patterns. Look at patterns, take time with information so that you can at least say, I have made a good faith effort in my best interest, yeah, to choose people to represent me who have a better chance, a better likelihood of coming through for me in the long term. If not, y'all, I mean, just plan on a lot of suffering. Just plan on a lot of suffering. And if you're not willing to do this work up front, like deal with it. Take it. You got to be willing to take it. Yeah. But you can use this way to cut through noise across the board in your life. It's not just about politics. I'm offering it to people from Dominica tonight from a political standpoint, but this is about relationships. You're trying to decide if you're going to move forward with someone in a relationship, a business partnership. You have to be willing to do these things. You have to be willing to move beyond that first level of, ooh, I feel anxious about it. Well, even if you feel anxious about it, it might be something profitable for you. Yeah. So that cannot be where you stay. That cannot be the place that you get stuck. It cannot be in your emotions. But when I say cannot, it can if you want it to, but it ought not to be where you stay stuck. Your sense of exhaustion when it comes to fighting for your rights in a society ought not to be where you stay stuck. That's an emotional response to stimuli outside of you. That's all that is. That is data. That's just information. That cannot then instruct me to act if the action goes against my long term best interest. So when I'm deciding on the action that I'm going to take, I cannot stop. I ought not to, if I'm being wise, stop at my emotional response to it. I have to at least move up a little bit. Well, at the very least, I prefer A to B. At the very least. Yeah? Okay, okay, okay. Well, let me form an opinion about A or B, and then I'm going to use some evidence, yeah, to make that decision. But I got to move up too and start looking at the way this person carries themselves. Am I going to sign a contract with a business person? Yeah, well, let's go into business together. But this person, when I have taken the time to move from my emotional excitement to, oh my God, is this person acting in an ethical manner? Is it somebody I would trust with something so important? We have to be willing to go to do that work. Then again, we don't have to be willing to do anything, but it's in our best interest to do that kind of thinking before we make final decisions. Because by the time you get at least to the wisdom step, at least you might be able to tell yourself, I have done my best. Let me release the rest to uh, time, my good effort, yeah, a little bit of favor, a little bit of luck. Maybe after I've done all the work, I take a stand. I pull back, I detach myself from the outcome because I've done my best. But until I've done my best, until I've done my best in making a decision, literally, you got to take what you get. Nobody's coming to rescue you. The politician, it's not in his best interest, her best interest sometimes to rescue you. And if that person is not working at an ethical or moral level, you're stuck. But you don't have to be stuck because you have to take your time on the front end to make these decisions. Yeah, it's us. Yeah, we have to choose better. And there are ways to choose better. So, this is my offering for tonight. This is my offering for tonight. I'm going to share the tool on my page, on a couple of my pages. If you're interested, use it. If you're not, you have every right not to. But this is life saving information. And it's my emotional response when I watch people, myself too, if I'm not thinking, right? Like if I'm being impulsive, we're just making decisions from our emotional states. And again, patterns are important. So 80% of the time, there's an 80-20 rule. Yeah. At least 80% of the time, think about 80% on a test. Shoot for 80% at least. Yeah. 20%. All right. Your frailties, you're tired, you're exhausted, you have other considerations, so you're not always thinking clearly. But for the most part, for the most part, my strong encouragement is you take your time and let's do better at evaluating people we place in these positions to make life changing decisions for us. Because in the end, that is what they do. Yeah, in the end, that is what they do. Okay, so I want to say thank you all for listening to this when you come upon it. For my folks, I know it's been hellish for some people in Dominica this past week. It's been hellish. I watched a video this afternoon of a lady who, she was highly emotional responding to the politics in Dominica, where her faith in a politician was clearly what she was responding to. And her response was actually based on incorrect information, but she was ready she was all in. She was all in, yeah, based on incorrect information. And some of us have the excuse that, maybe we've not been trained to think at a certain level. I get that. But there is so much information available that we have to take responsibility for our choices. Okay? We've got to take responsibility for our choices. My name is Dr. Triffy. Again, I'm a psychologist in Atlanta, Georgia. I spend a lot of time teaching people how to think better so they can feel better and they can do better. I hope you find something in this to support you in your decision making process. Seers, let me know if you found this helpful. In Dominica, we say, nous que parlions l'autre fois. Dominica is, I say this often, I'm originally from Dominica in the Caribbean, and we speak a French Creole. We are not the Dominican Republic. We are further south between Guadeloupe and Martinique, but we speak a French Creole. And to say goodbye, sometimes I say, nous que parlions l'autre fois, meaning we will talk another time. Okay? Drop a comment in the chat. Let me know if you find any of this helpful. Peace.